Hi everyone, I'm Chatlin from Xolo, and you are tuning in to our already sixth volume of Xolo Talks. Today we're going to talk with Viviana, who we're going to meet in a few seconds. And she's going to tell us all about how visuals and animations can help you improve your business. But before we delve into this, we're going to have a quick overview what it is that we do at Xolo here and how we can help you with your business. So let's go into the presentation quickly. What is Xolo? Xolo is your company, bank account, accountant, and best friend in business. What we do is that we aim to enable freelancers around the world to start and run their businesses fully online and hassle-free way. So you don't have to worry about the admin part or anything boring. You can just concentrate on what is your passion. For this, we have developed two products. We have Leap, our legacy product, which is in partnership with e-residency. With Leap, you can be a full owner of your company. You can have your own branding. You can do whatever a business owner does. You will get a business bank account, and we will take care of all the accounting, taxes, and all the boring stuff that you don't want to deal with. Then we have Go for people who are in a hurry or need to invoice maybe not so frequently. This is a quick setup for people who just need to invoice and need a legal body for that. And there are no fixed fees. You only pay when you want to take out the funds from the account. So yeah, you can try out freelancing without any commitment with our product Go. Also, we have dedicated customer support who will always be there to hold your hand. You can contact them by email, you can talk to them directly, and you just take care of your business. It's easy as that. And just to show you what we have achieved over the years, there are currently over 70,000 e-residents around the world from more than 100 countries. The average age group is 20 signups. We have processed over 7 million transactions over 5 years because we've been in business now for 5 years. This is our birthday year. So yeah, if you're interested to find out more, visit us at xolo.io or email us directly at hello@xolo.io. And let's now meet Viviana. Hi, Viviana. Thank you so much for joining us for this segment of Xolo Talks.
Thank you.
Sorry?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's delve into it. Tell us a little about yourself. What is it that you do?
I do a couple of things, but what I'm mainly here to talk about today is Motion Squad. That's my animation agency. I founded that back when I was still living in Germany, and I was a student back then, and I founded that together with my boyfriend at the time, who was an art director, and he wanted to become self-employed. So he kind of explored a bit what fields he can take and in his career path, and discovered motion design. And I was just studying 3D animation university, so we kind of got together and thought, like, he's doing 2D animation, I'm doing 3D animation, maybe we can do something with that. And that's how Motion Squad was created. And now he's not part of the company anymore, but I'm still doing that, and have a team now in Ukraine. I'm not living in Germany anymore. Meanwhile, I also became nomadic, like many Xolo customers, I think. And living in different places. Have been living 2 years in Ukraine and building an office here.
Let's dial back a little. So you said you started your business when you were in the university, right? So
yes.
Did you how did you go about what kind of options did you research? How did you know how to start and what to do? Because you didn't have any previous entrepreneurial experience, right?
No, not at all. I kind of slid into it because I was thinking enough myself as an entrepreneur back then. I just wanted to become like a visual effects artist or something in that realm. And then I just kind of helped out with creating the website and kind of slid into like the company, like always helped out with more and more, and then discovered it's actually yeah, kind of my thing of like just working for myself and not really searching for a job after university. And the company was already set up, so I didn't was not really involved in that process back then. But we kind of figured it out together. Um, I actually don't really remember that much from the start because it's already 5 years ago. I'm more so after a while I actually closed the company in Germany and then established it in Estonia. And that was more on my part where I actually established something and had to do the research myself.
And how did you find Estonia and Xolo?
It was when I was just moved out of Germany, and then I was living in Prague back then. And I was not really planning on maintaining my residence in Germany still, so I was kind of looking for options where I can have my business because I could keep it in Germany, but it's very bureaucratic and I just thought there might be like a better place to have my business if I'm like not even living in Germany anymore. But for me, it was important that it's still like a EU country because I have a lot of customers in Germany and it should also have like a good reputation and not be like some weird place that sketches out customers. And just I don't know. I think I've just read a lot on nomadic blogs, like of digital nomads, and probably on some of them I found Xolo and e-residency, and then I thought, oh, that sounds pretty simple, and I'm just gonna try that, and I'm actually pretty happy with that still. Yeah.
Great to hear that. Let's talk about what we came here today about like visuals and animation and all these things that you love to work on. So you do it for different companies, right? Help companies visualize their services for customers and so on. So just tell me like more about this process and how it works for people who are maybe not so familiar with how to use visuals.
So we do anything that's it's related to motion graphics, and that can be 2D animation, for example. And I think a lot of people maybe don't understand what the difference is between 2D and 3D animation, so I could maybe explain that a little bit first. 2D is like when you compare when you're in the movie theater, and there was back then it was Disney movies, for example, The Lion King, and it was all like hand drawn basically, and that was 2D. But people drew like frame by frame every single picture, and it was like a lot of people involved, a lot of work. And later on, this process was simplified by just drawing some, like the first frame, for example, like the first image, and then the hundreds, for example, and then you can interpolate between these images. Like the computer just generates the pictures. So that's 2D animation today, mostly in business. That you still like draw shapes on a flat screen. And as opposed to that is 3D animation, which you often see in Pixar, for example. The characters have a lot more volume, and there's more depth, there's realistic lighting. 3D animation can be completely photorealistic as well. And both of these styles are like for very different purposes. Generally, 3D animation takes a lot more time because you have to create a model, like a sculpture of all the objects you need. You have to say, oh, this is stone material, this is wood material, this is skin material. You have to create like all these different materials. Set realistic lighting setup as you would do in a photo studio in real life, but just to do it all virtually on the computer. There's just a lot more steps involved in just drawing an image. So 3D animation is more complex, usually more expensive, and it's often also used to create images of realistic objects. For example, a product that doesn't exist yet, you can just create a realistic representation of it. on screen and look somebody a video, but it's actually fake. So these are the types of animations customers buy from me. And also there's of course live action videos, which we have also done on request. So not just animation, but we also shoot video productions in Ukraine. Yeah, and I think that that's pretty straightforward, just like shooting a video basically. And you can use animations for like all different types of fields. A lot of times it's like a software demo, for example, where we just animate the user interface of a software that is being created. Sometimes it's an explainer video, which explains how a product works or how a service works, which is being used on the website. We have been working on TV ads for like teleshopping in Germany. So there's like so many different fields of animations, and it really depends what your use case is, of what animation style to choose and which technology.
So from your experience with working, like, I don't know how many customers you've had, hundreds over the years. So what are some of the things, because it's a big investment, I think, for people, like the video production. So like, why would someone invest in it, and like, what is the value that they get from it?
This is a good question. I think for different budget level, I would have different recommendations, and I'm getting a lot of requests and producing videos on request, which I would have not recommended myself, but where clients just set their mind to it and then they order it from me. And yeah, I'll execute it and it's okay, but I think it's maybe not always the best case. So if you're just like starting a business and you don't have a lot of budget, I would not necessarily produce an expensive explainer video with cartoon characters. Even like if you produce like something in a cheap, like you hire a cheaper service provider, it will look kind of not good, and then the whole money is basically out of the window. I think it's not really a point of spending that much money. I think it makes sense to have product renderings if you have a physical product. Like if you're just starting out and you create some piece of hardware, for example, like some smart home device, then you want to have like really high quality pictures on your website. So visuals, I think in that sense, serve more of showing your product. And also when you have a software product, I think you should maybe show just how your software works. That can be a screen recording. It can be enhanced with motion graphics. But if you don't have a really high budget, I actually don't recommend doing like a cartoon animation production, which if it's really well executed, it costs just a lot. And I think what makes sense if you're like on a medium kind of budget is using pay-per-click video ads on YouTube, like targeting people directly into just very short videos and execute those really well. Like just do a 10 or 20-second ad, but just invest your money in that and don't do like a 2-minute video or like a 3-minute video and send me like a script that I just execute on. And I think then your money is better used, or just like focus on a short video, use it for pay-per-click. And then if you have like a higher budget, then you can of course do like really cool productions like with live action. And I think it's always good to enhance live action with animation. And also do like a video content marketing strategy on YouTube, like actually posting informative content that relates directly to your target group. And I also see often that some companies just post videos on YouTube and trying to build a YouTube channel, but it actually doesn't really relate. Like they want to sell a business service, but then they post videos about, I don't know, like nutrition or like just some very general stuff. They often do like just random interesting facts and fun facts. But there's a lot of that exists on YouTube and you don't really reach your target group. So I think then you have to create like a really good strategy. And if you have that kind of budget, and it's really cool to use video for content marketing. I think that's usually the best use cases, which is in summary, physical products that don't exist, create like really high quality renderings, or create a cleaner view of your product, create renderings of your product, how it works, that you can see in real life. Like if you have some complex physical product, you want to look inside and explain to your customers why is this better, then the 3D animation is really good to use. Also, if you have like a complex software product, you want to use, you have like a complex PowerPoint presentation, you can enhance that with videos and explain it and simplify it a lot. And yeah, just animated software demos, as I said, I think are always really good at the beginning because they're also not very expensive to produce.
Do you have any examples of like, I don't know, that some customer who had like an amazing idea to advertise their services with a video, and you were like, and it had also a great impact and it worked well?
I think from my previous customers, I really like one product video that my customer Cereal Box did, I think, because it was very short and crisp, and I also think it had a decent amount of views because of that. And they had a really well drafted script, which is, I think, the most important part of video production. So yeah, I think the key was they actually showed their product, they showed screens, and they enhanced it with animation. And I think that's always the best thing you can do, is showing the actual real product and then enhance it, as opposed to just showing animation, which is can be impersonal, but they combined it and had like a really good script.
Yeah, that's great. So are there anything that you've learned, some tips, like what really like captivates people? I don't know if it's like colors or like some tone or like something that like every time is like a jackpot kind of a feature or something like that.
I think there is a kind of structure I always follow when I write a script, which is you highlight the problem, you try to relate to your customer, then you tell them how you would solve it or how you can solve it, and the benefits of your product, and you always end on with a call to action of what it is that you want your customer to do now or the viewer to do now. Yeah, if you do like a typical advertisement video, I think that's the typical structure to follow. Otherwise, I cannot like really say there's like a certain color or something that always works, because you usually want to do that it fits to your branding, I think, and the colors of your company. And I think it's really important. And there's like the style of whiteboard videos where there's a hand that's drawing some sketches on a piece of paper and it's filmed. And I don't really like those because I think they don't adjust to the company branding. Like every video just looks black and white and all the same, and you don't actually see the corporate identity and branding of the company. And I think a lot of people do those videos because they're very cheap, and that's exactly what I would not do on a budget. Basically, just producing a video for the sake of having a video, as opposed to just using that in a better way.
But they don't make people like feel or remember them because they don't stand out. So it's kind of
exactly. Yeah. It just looks like every other company's whiteboard video because it's just this fixed style that every company has, basically.
Yeah. But let's talk about more like being a freelancer and freelancer life and digital nomad lifestyle. So if someone wants to start as a designer or like a video editor or visuals creator, then where would you go about finding customers? Like, how did you get your start? Did you have some connections already, or you had to start from scratch?
We started pretty much from scratch, and to be honest, it didn't really work that well for like the first probably 1 or 2 years. So we were like really desperate for any contracts we could get, and worked for like really little money on really complex projects just to build some portfolio. And I think that's the first step, is building a portfolio. And what worked really well for me then was, I think after like 1 or 2 years, I discovered Upwork, and where you can register as a freelancer and get some contracts. And they're not always the greatest contracts contract, like they're not often working very well, at least timelines, and it's not what I do mainly now, but I think it really helped me to build a portfolio, because then I had a lot of projects from there that looked really cool, and I could put them on my website. I could use them to sell my services on other channels too. And it also, back then I only sold in Germany, but through Upwork I got some American customers, or also made our company look bigger. I think if you have like these international videos on your website, it looks like, oh, this is an established company, even though I'm just selling this as a freelancer on Upwork. But I think it really helped to like kickstart basically our business, and then get some better contracts after that.
So like you started from Upwork and then you got some stable customers from there from who you were able to start growing your network.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they were stable customers. It was just like portfolio projects that, they're not like the projects you want to have long term. I think I would not only want to have that as my income source, but it just grew our portfolio to actually being able to advertise to customers outside of Upwork as well.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you kind of started this digital nomad lifestyle a couple of years ago. So how is that going in the sense of like, is it difficult to uproot your business from a location, or is it like fully location independent? It doesn't matter where you're working, or does the location play any part in your work?
I really like working remotely before that. I also do a lot of written briefings and working with my team in that way. Previously, like I worked always with a lot of contractors and freelancers from Eastern Europe, and then I established the office here, but it actually didn't change the way I work with people, because I think if you have to actually think about what you write and write a briefing down in detail, then it's a lot easier for the other person than if you just like go in their room and at their desk and just throw ideas at them, and then they have to remember everything and things get lost. So it was always my way of working. That's why remote work works really well for me. Doesn't matter if I'm here or if I'm traveling. Like I'm often here as well, but if I'm abroad, then it doesn't really matter either way. I think it didn't really face any challenges with remote work, but I think it also depends on your personal style of work, how well that works for you, if you need like the personal contact with people all the time, which has some benefits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but you said you're from Germany, and we have a lot of customers from Germany. So, are you still like a tax resident in Germany, or have you like changed it? How does it work for you running your business and personal taxation?
I don't have tax residency there. For the longest time, I had it in Ukraine because I was living here full time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much you become a tax resident wherever you live for more than 6 months. So that I think that determines it. So I was not a tax resident of Germany anymore. Also, when you're nomadic and you travel a lot, then you actually don't have to register one. But it's always better to have one still.
Yeah. And what drives you to a place? How do you decide where you want to go and work from, like country-wise?
There's usually some reason tied to it, and it's always a different reason. Sometimes I want to like go back to Ukraine to check in on the office, or I have to do something there, and I go to Germany because I have to do something there. I don't know. It's like really, sometimes I want to like escape the cold weather, and then I guess I'm just seeing where I can go that is maybe fits the time zone of whatever project I'm working on right now. It kind of depends. I'm also spending a lot of time in the US, and yeah, I really like being in the US, so I'm trying to use the time I can stay there without a green card basically, or a visa, and always spend there like 4 months out of the year. Not now, of course, like I haven't been there for the past year, but for obvious reasons. But usually that's how I would structure my year.
Yeah. So you have already been in business as an entrepreneur for like 5 years. Do you have any tips that you could give to people who are interested in going on the path of becoming an entrepreneur? I don't know, some mistakes that they can avoid easily, because like just by listening to more experienced people, or like some things that they should really keep in mind when they get started.
I think I'm not sure. I kind of started out of the place of a service provider and like an agency, and I'm trying to grow more into a business that is product based, and I want to actually go in the direction of like a platform basically where you can produce videos and access talent in Eastern Europe, like video animation talent, and transform more from an agency towards a product company. And I think it's a lot of people start out with that. That was more risky or less clear to me. I think it's easy to start with just being a freelancer and accepting contract work if you're like starting from scratch. I think, as I said, Upwork is a great place to start if you're just getting started. It really worked for me, and I can just speak from the place of like a service provider and an agency style of business. Yeah, you just like keep going. It didn't work well for the first year, and you could give up there. And I asked a lot of people that wanted to become nomads and they wanted to work remotely. I told them like, hey, just register on Upwork and get your freelancer account started. But they kind of gave up after a while, after applying to a couple of jobs, never got a response. But I think you just keep doing it. At some point it works, and you build a network and you get more contracts. And at some point you get so many that you actually have to decline some because you have too much work, and that's great then. But it's really just keeping at it, I think.
But where do you like draw the motivation when you get those no's, and it's kind of, you said like the whole year you were kind of like struggling, and then what was the thing that kept you going that could maybe help also others who are in the same situation?
I'm not sure. It's just, I think maybe
You were just determined.
I think it was also helpful that in this stage of my life, I was a student, so I already had something to do and I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. It's, I think, different if you have a family and then you want to become self-employed. It's a lot more difficult because you actually have to earn money. But I didn't need a lot of money, so for me, it was not that risky to do in the first place. So I think it's probably the best time to start is as young as possible, so you don't have all this risk and responsibilities tied with it. I usually just I'm very persistent. I just keep doing things. I'm not really sure why. I just thought like it should work at some point, and I always try to find some new ways to sell or how to improve it. And there's not really an option for me to just stop.
So you don't get discouraged from the no, you just like keep on going.
No, I actually back then, when I just, for example, registered my Upwork account, I just looked up a lot of resources of people that 6-figure income over Upwork and how did they do that. And there's like a lot of material online, and I just followed all of their steps, and at some point it worked, and you get one contract and it's a shitty contract and you work maybe like 6 hours for $30, but at least you get your first good review, and I guess that keeps you going because with the first good review you can get another contract that's a little bit better than the one before.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So what are your plans for the future? You say that you want to create this kind of a platform kind of a thing, go away from being a service provider. So what's the idea behind it, or how far are you with it?
Yeah, I think being a service provider can be very stressful because you always have a bunch of deadlines. It's very hard to load balance. If you have full-time employees, then making sure they always have enough work, but then also if there's too many projects at a time to kind of load balance that, and then you have to hire one more person, but next month maybe you won't have work for that person. So I think that's just very stressful, and I kind of want to go away from that and move more towards a product business, being more like the person that connects people to work together. Like in this case, animators from different countries and people that seek animation for affordable prices. And yeah, I'm also interested to be more in the field of software development and started to do that myself a bit. So I'm actually developing this myself right now. And yeah, we're just moving forward in that direction. And the nice thing is what my principle always was is not to get funding or anything, to also that I can take my time to develop things and develop my own skills, and I don't have the pressure from other shareholders or investors that I have to do something immediately. I can just keep doing what I do and transition into something else when the right time is.
Yeah. So, yeah, that makes all the sense in the world because you need to like grow and find new challenges, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do like to just have the freedom with that and in what direction I want to grow. But I think it's definitely the goal to be more product oriented.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just checking. I think, are there anything that I didn't ask about that you would like to share for sure that you think is like some information that we haven't touched upon yet?
No, I think no, you ask great questions.
Thank you. I'm just seeing if we have any questions from our viewers. If you have any, then post them. Now is the time. I guess I don't see anyone typing at the moment. So yeah, I think we've covered all the bits and pieces that we're supposed to. So thank you so much, Viviana, for joining us and sharing all your knowledge. I wish you all the best, and I hope this product site takes off. And
Thank you.
yeah, and thank you. And thank you
It was great
everyone.
being here.
Yeah, thank you everyone who joined us, and see you at our next Xolo Talks. Bye.